Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to present my research today. My research topic is study on the tragic characteristics and performance of Mozart's piano sonata in A major K310. In this presentation, I will introduce the following aspects: research purpose, research questions, research methodology, preliminary research findings, future research directions, implication for the future. Mozart's piano sonata in A major K310 was composed during a particularly difficult period in his life, which gives the work a unique emotional depth and artistic significance. This study focused on exploring the tragic characteristics of the sonata and how these characteristics can be effectively conveyed in performance. By combining musical analysis with performance practice, this research aims to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the work. It is hoped that this study can offer useful references for performers in terms of technique, emotional expression, and interpretation. The main purpose of this research is to explore the tragic characteristics in Mozart's piano sonata in A major K310 and to examine how these characteristics can be expressed through performance. In addition, this study aims to connect musical analysis with practical performance, helping performers transform theoretical understanding into artistic interpretation. This study focused on the following questions. What are the main tragic characteristics in this sonata? What factors contributed to the formation of these tragic elements? How can performance effectively express these characteristics in performance? This study adopts a qualitative research approach, focusing on interpretative and analytical method. The methodology mainly includes three aspects: literature review, theoretical analysis, and performance-based reflection. First, a large amount of literature and video materials are collected and analyzed. These include academic papers, books, and different performance recordings. This helps provide a broad and objective understanding of the work. Second, this study combines theoretical knowledge with personal piano performance experience. Through continuous practice and reflection, theoretical ideas are tested and refined actual performance. Third, the research follows a structured analytical process. It begins with the historical and compositional background of the work, in order to understand the reasons behind its creation and its emotional context. Then, although detailed musical analysis will be developed in the later stage, this study has already identified key analytical dimensions including tonality and modality, harmony and melody, dynamics and tempo. Finally, the study can test analysis with performance practice, focusing on ornamentation, touch, pedaling. Through this integrated approach, the research aims to combine theory and practice in a meaningful way. At the current stage, the primary research method used literature review. This method provides a solid theoretical foundation and helps position this study within existing academic research. Some existing studies focus on the integration of musical analysis and performance practice in Mozart's piano sonatas. From a macro perspective, scholars tend to examine three main aspects. First, they discuss the historical development of the sonata form, tracing how the genre evolved from early classical structures into more mature and expressive forms in Mozart's time. Second, they analyze Mozart's compositional background, including his stylistic development and aesthetic preference. Third, they consider the evolution of the piano as an instrument, which directly influenced the performance techniques and expressive possibilities. From a micro perspective, these studies provide more detailed musical and technique analysis. They often emphasize the importance of achieving a singing tone in melodic lines, reflecting the vocal nature of Mozart's music, understanding rhythmic flexibility and musical pose, which contribute to expressive phrasing. Interpreting ornamentation not only as decoration but as an essential expressive element. Applying symphonic thinking in piano performance, where different voice and textures are treated with orchestral awareness. These studies demonstrate that Mozart's piano sonatas should not be approached purely as technique exercises, but as highly expressive works that require both analytical understanding and artistic sensitivity. Another important category of research focused on the comparative analysis of different performance versions of the same work. These studies typically select recordings by well-known pianists and analyze their interpretations from multiple perspectives, such as tempo choice, which significantly affects the emotional character of the music. Dynamic contrasts, shaping the dramatic structure. Articulation and phrasing, influencing clarity and expression. Overall music character and narrative interpretation. Through comparison, researchers highlight how different performers may present distinct emotional meanings and artistic intentions even when playing the same score. In addition, these studies often take into account broader contextual factors, including the historical development of performance practice, changes in instrument construction from forte piano to modern piano, differences in notation and editorial versions. By analyzing these factors, scholars aim to identify more historically informed and stylistically appropriate interpretations. For performers, the type of research is particularly valuable as it provides multiple interpretative possibilities rather than a single correct approach, encouraging more thoughtful and individualized performance design. There are also studies specifically focusing on Mozart's piano sonata in A major K310, as well as related works in minor keys. These studies usually begin with an overview of Mozart's life and musical development, including his different compositional period and major contributions to music. This background provides important context for understanding the emotional depth of the sonata. They then examine the historical background of K310, emphasizing its uniqueness as one of works in Mozart's output tend to carry stronger emotional intensity and dramatic expression. Furthermore, these studies conduct movement by movement analysis, exploring the structure and thematic development of these movements, the contrasts between different musical ideas, the relationship between form and emotional expression. Particular attention is given to how different disease convey contrasting emotional states, such as tension, grief, agitation, and lyrism, and how these elements are interconnected across the entire work. Some research also focuses on specific performance aspects such as the use of ornamentation, especially in the slow movement, highlighting its expressive and stylistic significance. In addition, comparative studies of other minor keywords, such as Mozart's violin sonata in E major, suggests that Mozart explored a more unified and intense expressive language in minor modes, further exporting the interpretation of K310 as a deeply emotional and tragic work. Over, Overall, these studies provide valuable insights into both the analytical structure and the expressive meaning of the sonata, forming an important theoretical foundation for the research. At the current stage, the research has mainly focused on historical and contextual analysis. Mozart was born in Salzburg, Austria, and is one of the most important representatives of the Viennese classical school. He was known as a musical prodigy from a very young age. During his childhood, he traveled across Europe with his father, giving performances and gaining extensive musical experience. In 1772, he became a court musician in Salzburg. However, due to conflicts with Archbishop, he left his position in 1781 and became one of the earliest freelance composers. Throughout his life, Mozart composed more than 600 works in various genres, including 19 piano sonatas. Among them, the most well-known include K330, K545, and K310. The piano sonata in A minor K310 was composed in 1778 during Mozart's stay in Paris. At that time, he traveled with his mother in search of better career opportunities. However, his mother passed away in Paris, which caused him deep emotional distress. In addition, he faced career difficulties and health problems during this period. These challenges contributed to a period of emotional hardship in his life. Therefore, this sonata can be seen as a reflection of Mozart's inner emotional world. The work is characterized by strong dramatic contrasts and a deeply expressive tragic quality. This preliminary research suggests that the tragic character of the sonata is closely related to Mozart's personal experience during his different period. In the next stage, in the next stage, the research will focus on detailed musical analysis. The analysis will explore the tragic characteristics from the following aspects: tonality and modality, harmony and melody, dynamics and tempo. In addition, performance interpretation will be further studied, including ornamentation, touch, pedalling, through score analysis and performance experimentation. The study aims to deepen the understanding of both musical structure and expressive meaning. Characteristics of Mozart and performance implications. This research may provide useful guidance for performers, helping them better understand how to express more emotional depth in Mozart's music. It may also contribute to future studies on classical music performance and interpretation. In conclusion, this study explores the tragic characteristics of Mozart's piano sonata in A major K310 through a combination of historical context, literature review, and performance-based reflection. The preliminary findings suggest that the tragic nature of this work is closely connected to Mozart's personal experiences during a difficult period of his life, particularly the loss of his mother and his professional struggles. Methodologically, This research highlights the importance of integrating theoretical analysis with practical performance, allowing for the deeper and more meaningful understanding of the music. In the next stage, further score analysis will be conducted to examine how tragic elements are expressed through musical structures such as tonality, harmony, and dynamics, and how this can be translated into effective performance techniques. The references are listed here. Thank you for your attention.